Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for June 14th, 2021 from Psalm chapter 5, Refuge in God. Previously we heard in the first part of Psalm 5 that God will take care of things when we cannot. Through faith, we pray and watch for God to respond because God listens to our prayers. Let's continue with the rest of Psalm 5, starting with verse 8. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. The psalmist notes that there are enemies, so the psalmist needs God to lead him. We are tempted by Satan to leave God. However, God is always protecting us and guiding us. Again, like the first part of this psalm, there are some things that are just out of our control. I cannot control the temptations from Satan, but I can pray and watch as God keeps me from straying in the faith. Let's continue on with verse 9. For there is no truth in their mouth. Their inmost self is destruction. Their throat is an open grave. They flatter with their tongue. The psalmist notes that his enemies have no truth, and because they have no truth, it leads to death and destruction. This shows that the enemies of the psalmist were being influenced by Satan, the devil, because these are characteristics of Satan. Hear what Jesus has to say of the devil in John chapter 8, verse 44. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. The psalmist sees these people as outside of God's grace and mercy. They are under the influence of Satan. They're giving into his temptation. So let's continue on with verse 10. Make them bear their guilt, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Because of the abundance of their transgressions, cast them out, for they have rebelled against you. It's interesting. The psalmist does not take their attacks personally, but notes that the psalmist's enemies are really rebelling against God. You see, this is a spiritual warfare where people rebel against their Creator, their Redeemer, against the God who loves and cares for them. So the psalmist ends this psalm with a list of benefits of those that receive the gift of God and do not rebel against God. Verse 11, but let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them ever sing for joy and spread your protection over them, that those who love your name may exult in you. For you bless the righteous, O Lord. You cover him with favor as with a shield. We will have enemies in this world because we do believe and trust in Jesus the Christ. Satan will tempt us, and Satan will tempt others to attack us. However, we are not alone. As the psalmist states that God will cover us and protect us with a shield. You may ask, what is this shield of God? St. Paul teaches us in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 16, in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one. Faith and trust in God. That is our shield. And it does protect us from the many attacks of Satan. So as Christians, we need to remember that we take refuge in God. God's peace and many blessings be with you. And thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.